10 races to look forward to out at the Big T on Saturday. It is Saturday the 22nd of March 2025. It is of course a doubleheader on the local front. 8 races out at Hollywoodbets Durbanville and 10 out at Turffontein. Joining me on the line is Alistair Cohn. And Alistair, how are you doing?
Yeah, good, thanks, Raheel. You found us in good spirits on this Friday morning. I believe it's a public holiday, but not so much for us. But yeah, all good. We're obviously a week out from the only whirlpool visits to the half-veld for the year. Obviously, one at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth, one in the half-veld, and a handful in Durban through champion season. Obviously, the effect that it has on the numbers, the tote, the liquidity, and the trust of the payouts all goes hand in hand. So this is very much the quiet before the storm. This 10-race card at Turffontein alongside the 8 at Hollywoodbets Durbanville. For me, I quite like the look of the Cape Town card, but we'll have a go at this Turffontein card. Next week will be totally different, and if we do get this one right, it'll be memorable.
Race number 1, 1150. It is a maiden juvenile plate for fillies, 1160 meters the distance. Number 3, Little Miss Splendid, tops the boards, 22 to 10 into 15 to 10. Princess Kira, number 5, is at 28 to 10. It is 7 to 2, Queen's Pact, 5 to 1, number 7, Quiet Winter, 14 to 1, and Better Ball. Those number 9, Vanicum. This is the son of Vercingetrix. He's related to that horse King of the Gauls, who is an absolute speedball. And yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if this filly were to make an impression on debut. But Little Miss Splendid, the one to beat on a debut run to King Harold, who we picked out.
Yeah, look, Raheel, it's not an easy card, as I said, and I'm probably going to be banging the same drum for most of the 10 races. Little Miss Splendid does set a standard on her debut. There was no interest in the market, though. King Harold 1 looked the goods. That's a half-brother to Lucky Lad. Little Miss Splendid could only improve. Cabello Matsanyani rides particularly well for Robin Klaasen. There's no way I can put anyone off number 3, Little Miss Splendid. But I'm interested to see how number 5, Princess Kira, goes. Surprised at the price that she gave out, because I thought she would have been a little bit more generous in the market, considering she'd been well beaten by Glastonbury twice. But my line of thinking for number 5, Princess Kira, having a very good hope in this race, is A, Gavin Lorena takes a ride. Second of all, there was a lot of support for her on debut on Betway Summer Cup Day, where she ran no sort of race behind Glastonbury, but she must have been shown something to have been supported. Second up, after a wouldn't say lengthy break, but definitely after some sort of time to recover and learn after the first start, went straight into the listed Ruffian Stakes and closed the deficit behind Glastonbury. I don't see any Glastonburys in this race, so I think number 5, Princess Kira, now on a more regular racing routine, she might be popping to give a good account of herself, and she's the one that I'm going to tip on top. All the first-timers here make some sort of impression here, Raheel. Number 4, Matter of Trust, funny enough, is a half-sister to Mondial, who runs in Hong Kong on Sunday under Luke Ferraris. Not for one moment suggesting that Matter of Trust can win on debut, but she is well related. The reason why I don't think she can win on debut is I think that she'll be crying for a mile plus. 7, Quiet Winter, Lucky Udalakis, excuse me, can get them ready and rearing to go on debut, and as can Manopandaram with Vanicum. You spot on about the breeding, a half sister to King of the Gauls. So just watch the market on all the first timers, but without knowing anything about the first timers, 5 from 3 is the way that I read it.
Could turn out to be a tricky contest here. Race number 1, Alistair siding with these 2 race runners, numbers 3 and 5, to perhaps fight it out. But as he's mentioned, the market will certainly be very key when it comes to these debutants. Race number 2, maiden juvenile plate, 1160 meters the distance. Favourite here, number 3, Esteemed, at 9 to 10. 7 to 2, Blizzard Quest. It is 9 to 2 about numbers 5, Simbini. 15 to 2 about number 2. And then it is 10 to 1 and Better Ball. Those you can scratch number 6, which is Singleton Sam, son of One World, who was quite prominent in the market, so he is out. And yeah, number 3, Esteemed, tops the betting boards here, Alistair. This is the son of Rafif from the Mike and Matthew de Kock yard, and they're doing very well with their juveniles.
Absolutely flying. And look, this might sound like a stick away. It's not. Mike de Kock is a Hall of Fame trainer, one of the best trainers of all time. And he is a brilliant 2-year-old trainer, but he's not known to press them first up. And all these other 2-year-olds that have been trained by Mike and Matthew, I believe, haven't been pressed first up, and they've just been absolute natural racehorses. But what I can tell you is that the word is out about this horse, Esteemed. And I'm not surprised to hear the price that you call about this son of Rafif. Ryan Munger takes her out for Mike and Matthew de Kock. Also bred to be fairly quick. Anything out of a high chaparral mare really pricks the ears. And I think the biggest clue that I can give you, Raheel, is that Esteemed is quoted to run in the Tab South African Nursery Grade 2 7 days later. So if that's not a signal of intent, I don't know what is. There's not much form to work with. Sambina ran a useful debut behind Mr. Wilson first up, drawn on the inside. He's got nice speed. He's a half-brother to Sing for Rafa, Grade 1 winner at Hollywoodbets Scottsville. But from what I hear, I'm going to take a good one to beat number 3, Esteemed. Should be a BIPOC banker from what I've been told.
Yep, the word on the ground is strong about the son of Rafif, and all in here with him in race number 2. Race number 3, maiden plate 1,000 meters the distance. Number 1, Elysian Bow, and number 3, Old Fashioned, topped the boards at 22-10. Number 2, Hemisphere, is at 3-1. Number 4, Peep D'Oro, who I think has been very disappointing. He is at 6-1. It's in 10-1 and better bar those. Start off the place accumulator. What are we doing here?
So, Raheel, PA is my suggested bet because obviously the complexion of the card, I think, allows itself to the PA being a very catchable exotic. For what it's worth, I do think that the pick 6 is also catchable on the card, but I think it's going to pay quite a bit and you're going to have to stretch your budget a little bit. So 2 and 3 are my numbers. Hemisphere and Old Fashioned. Number 1, Elysian Bow's got all the respect in my book as well, with Muzieni on board. But the 2 horses I've included, Old Fashioned, just looks like he's just about ready to win. Pierce Draden Carter to take the ride. Paul Clinton Binder, I know that striker's been under the weather through the week, so hopefully he's able to ride number 3, Old Fashioned. Just the form, finishing in front of Ringo, finishing in front of Turf Guru. Obviously on the Just Jazzed up run, Ringo, funny enough, finished in front of him. So there's a little bit of food for thought, but I think Striker is going to make a difference on the Son of Canford Cliffs, so I think that he's going to run well. And then number 2, Hemisphere. All of his runs actually haven't been all that bad. The debut to Handsome Prince at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth, nothing wrong with that. Ran in the Cape Slipper on World Sports Betting Cape Town Met Day last year. That was the strongest 2-year-old form on offer, with everything being beat in the same vicinity as Hemisphere, coming out and winning. He was rested for nearly a year. He's been rested for 6 months still, so fitness does need to be taken on trust. I like that Gavin Larena gets on board here for Johan Janssen van Vuren, this well-bred son of Vercingetorix, if not in desperate need of the run. I think he's the best horse in the race. It's just a matter of whether he needs it enough in this race. So 2 and 3 for me in the place accumulator. Those are the numbers I'm going to row in with. If you didn't like one of them and you preferred Elysian Bow, you'd have no argument from our side. But also a little bit of food for thought. Hemisphere beat Elysian Bow when they met behind Grey Jet.
Yeah, that is race number 3, 2 and 3, the numbers for Alistair, but others that you can include, perhaps 1 and 4. Race 5, maiden plate, 1,400 meters. The distance, 13:35 is the off time. It is the start of the pick 6, and number 1, Dylan's Champ, tops the boards here at 9-10 after he was scratched a couple of weeks ago. Number 2, Obsidian at 5-2. Number 9, Saudi Sweep, 33-10. It's then 8-1 and better bar those. What are you doing here, Alistair? Leg 1 of the pick 6. What's your thoughts?
I make it an absolute boat race between numbers 1 and 2, Dylan's Champ and Obsidian. I think as far as PAs and bar pots are concerned, you can bank a one or the other. Pick 6, you'll probably need both. The reason why you need both, Dylan's Champ a length and a half behind immediate edge. That form is more than strong enough to win the race, but then also second to Robert Browning, second to Gamer, might not be good enough to win the race. He hasn't put the race to bed, as you say. A little bit of a niggle in the back of your mind that he was scratched at the valve when he could never miss in that race just a few weeks ago. He's long overdue. He might be a bit of a brass, but if he won, you'd want to be on his side, because you will look really silly if you left him out and he did the job, because it's a matter of time before he does win the race, does get the sympathetic hands of Andrew Fortune in the irons, and just naturally figures as a horse to respect. Number 2, Obsidian, very interesting. On indirect form lines, if you use immediate edge as your line, finishing 6 lengths to 1 more star from number 2, Obsidian, isn't good enough to get anywhere near number 1, Dylan's Champ. Plus, Obsidian comes back from a break, but his last start was an excellent run behind a horse who I think has still got wins to come in the form of Serrano. I know there was nothing else in behind, but I think number 2, Obsidian, now dropping in distance, coming back from a break as well. The way that I read Johan's horses at the moment, I think that although it's been a quiet year so far for Johan Janssen van Vuren, I think he's playing the long game and bringing these horses back from a break. It's a well-known fact, he said in an interview that he's battled with a few snotty noses, of which there are plenty at Fontein, by the way. You can tell by the scratchings over the last few days and going into this meeting. If he doesn't need the run, he's a big runner, number 2 Obsidian. But I'm just going to lean towards number 1, Dylan's Champ.
2-horse race number 4, start off the pick 6, but Dylan's Champ, the top pick. Race 5, Maiden Plate, fillies and mares, and 1400 meters is the distance. 10 past 2 is the off time. Number 4, Cape Saffron, tops the board here. 2-1 into 15-10. Number 3, Art Novo is at 28-10. 5-1 about number 1, Summer Winter. 11-2 number 2, Winds of Grace, and number 6, Wearing Off the Green. It is then 10-1 and Better Bar Those. Alistair, race number 5, Cape Saffron and Wearing Off the Green. They both come from that form line behind Pumpkin Pie. There's 3 lengths to choose between them, but I get the feel that I wouldn't be surprised if Wearing Off the Green were to turn the form around, given that she returned off a rest last time out. She would have tightened up a lot with that run under the belt, and there could be value there at 11-2, 6-1.
I've read it exactly the same way as you, Raheel. I'd hesitate to say turn the form around, but get a lot closer. Absolutely no doubt. For the reason that you've given, second one after a break will be a fitter horse. She is busy. Number 6, Wearing Off the Green, she's been scratched for not loading in the past, but last time she did everything like a pro. She stayed on nicely from a long way back and ran at horses at the end, which is pretty much how you want to see a horse finish a race. She's obviously no grade 1 filly, but every win that she gets with that breeding will mean a lot for the Wilgeborst Drift team. So I think number 6, Wearing Off the Green, is alive here if we're not 1 run premature. It is 3 lengths to turn around with number 4's Cape Saffron, so it's difficult to use any other argument but the fact that Wearing Off the Green may have needed that last run to motivate number 4, Cape Saffron, but for me it looks like she's just about ready to win. Stuart Pettigrew with 2 winners at Turffontein on Thursday from, I think it was only 2 runners, so his yard's in good heart at the moment. Jeffrey Saist is back on board, which I think is admirable of Stuart to keep Jeffrey on board, having done nothing wrong. I can tell you firsthand that Pumpkin Pie is expected to go through the divisions and win some races, so if you can get to within 3 lengths of Pumpkin Pie, especially receiving 3 kilograms, then Cape Saffron's ought to go very well. So she'd be my top selection, but 4 and 6 are my numbers here. The form lines at number 3, Art Nouveau, are very questionable, but let's see if Tony Peter can improve this daughter of Quarari. Certainly not beyond the realms of possibility. And number 2, Winds of Grace, another horse just to consider for the maybe shortchanging her by saying back end of Trifectas and Cortez. I think she'll run better than what she did last time, but I'd expect a little bit more next time up from number 2, Winds of Grace. So 4 and 6 right here, right now.
Yeah, I agree. 2-horse race here, 4 and 6. I think it actually could be a nice exacta to play here in race number 5 over the 1400 meter trip. Cape Saffron 15-10, Wearing Off the Green number 6 at 11-2. Race number 6 up next. This is an MR76 handicap over 1400 meters. Number 1, Just Far, tops the boards at 18-10, a horse that is in terrific form. It's 3-1 about number 2, Cigarette Swing. It is 7-2, Tokyo Medaglia. 15-2, There's a Light. 10-1, and Better Bar Those. Scratches number 4, Future Nair. Field of 9 runners remain. Just Var, Andrew Fortune gets a ride aboard the Son of Var, and he could actually suit him quite nicely. And if I'm not mistaken, this horse started off his career with Ashley Fortune.
Spot on, 100% right. So full circle moment for Team Fortune or Family Fortune. Number 1, Just Far, and funny enough, owned by Andrew's brother. His name's Hadley. I'm under correction there, but that's Andrew's brother. He told me firsthand. So number 1, Just Far. Andrew's going to give the kitchen sink here. Since coming back to Joburg, he's never been out the first 4. Penultimate start over a mile. Just probably stretched him too much. Wasn't disgraced with that form line working out well, and considering that Spumante Dolce is running in a grade 1 a week from now. So absolutely nothing wrong with that. This is a happy place. 1400 meters Turffontein stand side track. Big player. Still think he's got another win or 2 in hand as far as the handicapper is concerned. £5 on the rating could or might not quite be enough to stop him in his tracks. But I think I found a horse here at a price that I'm definitely going to put swingers. Numbers 1 and 9. What price is number 9 Thambi, Raheel?
That's trading at 10-1 in the market.
Okay, 10 to 1. I was hoping for a little more, but 10 to 1's the price that we've been given. The draw's a little bit of a worry, but ratings come down. His last winning mark was a 71. He's down to a 63. It's easier to obviously figure, well, less than 5 lengths to immediate edge. Immediate edge is touted towards the top of the boards when it comes to the Hollywoodbets Durbanville. 5 lengths to Bacchus. Bacchus is not far away. His best of the generation on the half belts as well. Third run after a break. I think this horse is popping for a big run, number 9, Thambi. If he doesn't win, I think he'll go very, very close. And those are the 2 horses I'm going to revolve the race around. Of the others, I think number 6, Tokyo Medaglia, definitely warrants watching. He could be the next best in the race. I think he won a fairly warm maiden last time. You won't get a price on War of Kingdoms when he next steps on. Gavin Larena takes the ride. So if you ask me for what's your next best, it would be number 6, Tokyo Medaglia. But as far as the PA and the bar pot for that matter is concerned, I'm happy with 1 and 9.
2 horses here in race number 6, but just for the one to beat, and the value in the race number 9, Tambi, at 10 to 1. Race number 7, Graduation Plate, 1600 meters the distance. Number 1, Aristotle, is your favorite at 16 to 10. It's 22 to 10 about number 8, Too Late My Mate, who ran last time out in the Fillies Guineas behind Spumante Dolce. Number 2, Royal Force at 9 to 2, along with number 4, Kamensky. It's 14 to 1. And better by those. Quite an interesting contest this, Alistair. Aristotle, last time out, I expected more from him given what he did in the Guineas when finishing 3rd, but nonetheless not striding out. Back down in trip to the 1600. He's the best weighted horse in the contest, and he's the one to beat you.
Yeah, well, I think we were all a little bit underwhelmed with the last start in the South African Classic. I even had a chat to Alec Led before Virgin River won on Thursday, and we were just commenting about the fact that Fire Attack ran an absolute ripper back from a setback and no prep over 1,800 meters, and he was surprised with how Parisian Walkway and Aristotle ran. He was of the opinion that there wouldn't be much between them. But anyway, here we are, back to a mile. I think this is a good horse, Raheel. I thought that his first run in Joburg showed you that. Even his Cape Town form, I mean, 2 1/4 lengths to All Out for 6, beating Green Garnet, who's not stopped winning or running places since. This horse was always heading in the right direction, so I'm willing to forgive him his last start. According to the ratings of 113, he's going to be a very hard horse to beat, with the stable companion number 8, Too Late My Mate, getting a very valuable 6 allowance off a rating of 100, getting into the conversation as far as the best weighted column is concerned. I think number 1, Aristotle, is going to take all the beating, so I'm prepared to banker him in my place accumulator. But there's some very nice horses lurking around here. I want to start with number 4, Kamensky, who meets Royal Force on 2 kilo better terms. Second run after a break. That was a massive run from Kamensky last time. First run in about 9 months. Gavin Larena steps on board here for Ray Magna. There's no way that he's got his legs tied up here, number 4, Kamensky, and he could be anything. And then number 2, Royal Force. It's got to be a seriously good racehorse. His second start was disappointing. I know that he beat Legendary first up and there wasn't much opposition in the race, but he won in the manner of a good horse and then bounced back to winning ways again. He's got such a lovely action, such a lovely stride about him, that there is just simply something about him. There's a switcheroo in the jockeys. I don't know whether Gavin chose Kamensky. I don't know whether Ryan chose Royal Force. I've got absolutely no idea the dynamics. And we've also got Pierre Stratham, who's retained by the ASSM Racing Syndicate, and he's not riding for them. So jockey arrangements, absolute blur. Cold Loud today, Aristotle, the horse to beat, but there's some very nice horses in the race. I even think number 5, One More Star, is well above average. Don't know if he can win this, not on what I saw last time in the Derby trial, but there definitely wins to come from number 5, One More Star. Maybe not quite here.
Yeah, quite an interesting race, and a race, a form line at least, that I think we can follow, because there'll certainly be winners coming from this contest. Race number 8, next up, Middle Stakes, 2,000 meters the distance, 15:55 is the off time. Number 6, Apache Sun, your favorite at 7 to 2, along with number 7, Total Surrender. Number 5, Wafif, is at 4 to 1. It's 9 to 2 about number 8, Birthright. Number 1, Natcham, is at 6 to 1. 8 to 1 about number 4, Starcoin, who Alistair went for last time out. And it's 12 to 1 and better by all those. You're giving Starcoin another chance? You must. Surely he's dropped 3 more points in the ratings and wasn't disgraced last time out.
I've left him out the PA, but I'm not leaving out the pick 6, Raheel. A very, very tricky race. I was very keen on Starcoin last time. I actually got a cheap thrill. The 400, I thought he was going to move in and run a place. That would have been good enough. May have still just needed that run. You can see he's closing the deficit with each and every start. Ratings come down. He's alive, number 4, Starcoin. But probably to my own detriment, left him out the PA, but definitely put him into the pick six. 1, 5, and 6 are the numbers I'm going in with, so that just shows that I'm not mad about the race. Let's start with number 6, Apache Sun, while we're on the theme of Star Queen. Apache Sun finished in front of Star Queen. I know the weights don't necessarily favour Apache Sun, but he's still got the scalp to his name. Kabelo Matsanyani takes her out for Tyrone Zaki. I think Tyrone's got a very strong hand here. But number 6, Apache Sun, probably the likeliest of the few. Number 5, Wafif, got to go in as well. Muzieni doesn't often ride for a sponsor in the form of Villamaka Munstone Stamkor, but here we are with the son of Rafif, who's banging at the door. I love that anti-penultimate run behind Tamara's Tree. Tamara's Tree at this level is absolutely deadly. So number 5, Wafif, got to be a player. And number 1, Najam. This is going to be my top selection, Raheel. Gavin Larina takes her out for Tony Peter, Tony's yard. Banging form on Thursday. I don't think he was either ready for the distance or maybe not got the distance at all last time. I know he's won over 2,200 metres at Hollywoodbets Greyville, but the Turffontein standside track with a long run and the hills, a different kettle of fish. May have just needed that. Returned with stirrup rubs behind Breeze over last time out. The biggest glaring fact with number 1, Nat Yam, is that he was supported from 10-1 to 9-2 last time out, and even in the Christmas handicap, running 6.5 lengths behind Imelenza Yokuru Duma, who's now grade 1 placed. It stacks up for a big run from number 1, Nat Yam. If he doesn't have stirrup rubs this time around, I'll make him the horse that they all need to beat.
6-1 the current price about number 1, Nat Yam, and let's see how he shapes up in race number 8. Race number 9, this is the penultimate race on the program. Pinnacle Stakes, 1160 meters. Number 4, Quantum Theory, your favorite at 5-2. Number 5, Mount Pilatus, 3-1. Along with number 6, Karate Kid. Number 3, Dreamland, is at 4-1. 6-1 about number 1, Mrs. Browning. It's 14-1 and better bar those. Another interesting contest here, Alistair. Best weighted column has got Mrs. Browning Winter Greeting that top it, and Mrs. Browning has been disappointing at her last 2 starts. Went off as a favourite 2 starts back, and then last time out went off as a big outsider. She's no doubt better than that, and Pinnacle Stakes, these conditions suit her.
Raheel, there's a number of angles here because there's blood on the floor with some of these horses on what they showed at their last starts. I mean, if you're going to tell me that Mrs. Browning is genuinely 12 3/4 lengths worse than William Robertson, I would never accept that. If you were to tell me Winter Greeting is 27 lengths worse than Chasing Happiness, I wouldn't buy it. And if you could tell me that Dreamland is 8 lengths worse than William Robertson, I would never believe that. You could obviously use the soft track and the JJ, the jet plane, or what was known as Tommy Hotspur, as an excuse for quite a few runners behind William Robertson, who absolutely glided through and has got to be one of the leading contenders in the computer form sprint next week. But those runs were too bad to be true. So where do we stand? I mean, Mrs. Browning is just a top 2 position away from being an Equine millionaire. Dreamland, I think, is a well above average horse. His winner's penultimate start was evidence of that. Ryan Munger takes the ride. So I don't know how to read these horses. I don't know whether they're just going to put that last run behind them and suddenly show the real versions of Mrs. Browning, Winter Greeting and Dreamland that there is, or whether the track's still going to be a little bit on the sticky side. By the way, on Friday morning it's a beautiful day and it's expected to be so for the next few days. So I don't think it's going to be all that stuff, probably perfect going. On that, I'm going to go 4 and 5 here. Quantum Theory and Mount Pilatus as my 2 runners in the place accumulator, but the race certainly doesn't stop there. Quantum Theory and tracking good form. Barbaresco, no 1160 meter horse, but he's a top horse. He's a grade 1 horse. He's grade 1 placed. Quantum Theory running second last time out. Robbie Sageyard in good form. Tongue Tie comes off. Probably didn't take a step forward or step backwards with the tongue tie on. But expect a nice run from number 4, Quantum Theory. But if you go to the penultimate starts on Betway Summer Cup Day in the Merchants, Mount Pilatus slapped up number 4, Quantum Theory, to the tune of 7 lengths. So on that run, obviously Mount Pilatus is the one that holds sway. So 5, my top choice, over number 4, Quantum Theory. But if any of these top 3, 1, 2, and 3 bounce back, it would be no surprise to me. And just to mention about number 6, Karate Kid, probably unfair to judge him on the last start. Rachel Vineker was left in the starting stall. She had absolutely no hope. Draw a big line through that, and he doesn't have bad form at all, number 6, Karate Kid. He can gallop.
Yeah, it's quite a difficult race to end off the pick 6 here, race number 9, and a race where you probably need to go wide. Race number 10, final race on the day. It's an MR66 handicap over the 1,000 meter trip, average rating of 59. Number 7, Pacific, your favorite, 7-2. Number 1, In the Ether, 9-2. Number 5, Samoa, 5-1. 6-1, number 9, Dancing Dora. Number 8, Together Again, is at 8-1. It's 10-1. Number 11, Paula Millions, it's 12-1. And Better Ball those. Alistair, it's the final leg of Jackpot 2. How many horses would you suggest that the guys need here? Because it looks very, very trappy.
If you're prepared to bank at Aristotle on the first leg of Jackpot 2, then you could probably get away with Fields in this final race. It's a nightmare, Raheel. It's one of those good old low-grade sprint handicaps on the half velds. These horses run with each other time and time again. There's a different results all the time. If it was the Val, I'd tell you that number 5, Samoa, is an absolute blinder, but we're not at the Val. But she's got every chance. Gavin Arena takes her out. What Bridget Stardoll and the Patterson family have done with this 10-year-old mare by Global One running for the 102nd time is astonishing, but she is better at the Val. Of that, there's no doubt. One of her 7 wins have come at Turffontein. So chance, but not mad. I think the line of form that reveals most here, Raheel, is the Komati River race the day after the World Sports Bet in Cape Town met on the 26th of January, where Samoa ran quarter length and a half behind Komati River. Just a shade behind her was twice as wild. Then came, Pacific, then twice as wild. Then Life Goes On. Circus Lights obviously refused to jump on that occasion. Pacific at the top of the boards is probably the right way to go here. I'd hate to tip a favourite in a race like this because my eyes light up in races of this nature to look for a horse at value, but number 7 Pacific is probably the one that they all need to beat. He backed up that last run behind Komati River with an admirable third behind Thunderbird. There's no reason to put you off. Ran on nicely last time out. The horse that probably represents a bit of value is number 10 Life Goes On. Been for him a few times. He's very much on my radar. Ratings come down another pound. Second run after a break. He's got a prayer, and he's also drawn on the right side of the track. Number 10, Life Goes On. I just want to talk about number 3, Great Barrier. I'm tired of tipping her. I don't know why my wife forces me to persist, but we're back to the sprint. Her work is better than a horse rated 63. It always has been. Been burnt a number of times with number 3, Great Barrier. I don't know how many more chances I'm going to be convinced into having, but just put her into your quartet because I've been warned that maybe this is what she'd be looking for, back down and trip to the sprint. But I don't know. I'm very, very, very shady with number 3, Great Barrier. But the word on the streets is that she'll run a fair race.
Word on the streets, yeah, we love that. Alistair has got number 3, Great Barrier, and he'll be hoping for a big win here from the Storts of Rafif. Nice winning check here as well with this filly, and let's hope she can put her best foot forward. And yeah, I'd like to find their number 10, Life Goes On, 14-1. He could be a massive runner with the draw in his favour. So that is race number 10, a very tricky contest to wrap up proceedings for us. So we're going to move along to the suggested bet now. Alistair will take us through suggested bet for racing on Saturday out at Turffontein Place Accumulator. It begins with the running off race number 3. Alistair, take it away.
Yeah, just for what it's worth, I am not having a bet on Great Barrier, but if she ran to the top 4, everyone will be more than happy. PA starts at 1 o'clock, so that'll be just after the first at Hollywoodbets Hollywoodbets Durbanville, so don't miss the boat here. There's a lot going on. PA 2 and 3 in the first leg, Hemisphere and Old Fashioned by Banker 1, Dylan's Champ. By 4 and 6, Cape Saffron and Wearing of the Green. By numbers 1 and 9, Just For, and my value player of the day, Thumby. By Banker 1, Aristotle. By 1, 5 and 6, Natjam with Thief and Apache. So Natjam could also represent a nice price. By 4 and 5 in the final leg, Quantum Theory and Mount Palacis.
That is a Place Accumulator, quite an affordable one, and one that certainly worth getting involved in on Saturday. Alistair, thanks very much. Have a wonderful weekend, and all the very best.
Cheers, Raheel. Well, we were talking about it before the show started. No Premier League this weekend, so you don't have the heartbreak of watching Liverpool bottle it again.
Please, don't go there.
But the IPL gets underway this weekend, so for all those cricket fans, of which you and I are, we'll be captivated for the next couple of months.
Yeah, absolutely. Plenty to look forward to on the sporting front, apart from Premier League football, but you obviously can watch some international football if you're a fan of that. So all the best with racing on Saturday out at Turffontein and at Hollywoodbets Durbanville, and hopefully it's a profitable day's racing.